In the dark corners of global politics and military strategy, a mysterious and dangerous world is hidden. This is the realm of black ops, a shadowy world filled with secrets and high risks. These operations are often secretly carried out by governments or military agencies involving special forces or intelligence agencies, and their existence and details are kept strictly confidential. The history of these operations is filled with mystery and incredible stories, and their secretive nature often means the truth is shrouded in mist. Let us delve into this world of thrill and conspiracy, uncover the mysteries of black ops, explore their origins, evolution, infamous cases, astonishing technological advancements, and the legal and ethical controversies they have sparked. In the shadows of World War II, a secret organization known as the Special Operations Executive, SSOE, was quietly born in the dark corners of Britain. This organization was formed on July 22, 1940, by the merger of three existing secret organizations and was led by the Minister of Economic Warfare, Hugh Dalton. Its purpose was to conduct espionage, sabotage, and reconnaissance in Europe, and later Southeast Asia, occupied by the Axis powers, and to assist local resistance movements. The existence of the SOE was almost completely secret to the outside world. Those involved or in contact with it were sometimes referred to as Baker Street Irregulars, named after the location of its London headquarters. It was also known as Churchill's Secret Army, or the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. For security purposes, its various branches, and sometimes even the entire organization, were hidden behind names like the Inter-Services Research Bureau, or the Joint Technical Committee, or fictitious branches of the Air Ministry, Navy, or Army. The SOE operated in all territories occupied or attacked by Axis forces, except in areas where boundaries were agreed upon with Britain's main allies, the United States and the Soviet Union. The organization sometimes utilized neutral territories or planned and prepared for attacks by Axis powers on neutral nations. The organization directly employed or controlled over 13,000 people, of which about 3,200 were women. The SOE's primary mission was to conduct covert sabotage operations and support local resistance movements in Nazi-occupied European countries. This included blowing up bridges, railways, factories, and other key infrastructures, as well as organizing and funding underground resistance groups. The SOE conducted sabotage activities in many occupied countries. One of the most thrilling operations was Operation Gunnerside, executed in Norway, aimed at destroying the heavy water production facility under Nazi occupation, crucial to preventing Nazi Germany from developing an atomic bomb. Heavy water is a key component in making atomic bombs, and Norway's Vemork hydroelectric plant was one of the few places in the world capable of producing it at that time. Early attempts at sabotage, including the Gunnerside and freshwater operations, were unsuccessful. However, in 1943, a small team composed of members of the Norwegian resistance movement with support from the British Special Air Service began a new sabotage operation. They successfully infiltrated Norway under harsh winter conditions, approached the target, and in February, successfully destroyed the hydroelectric plant's heavy water production facilities, completing the mission without any casualties and withdrawing. This operation is considered to have played a key role in preventing the Nazis from developing atomic weapons, and was a significant victory in World War II espionage operations, becoming a model for resistance movements and special forces operations. Additionally, the SOE provided weapons, training, and funding to resistance groups around the world. In France, the SOE supported the French resistance, aiding in organizing sabotage operations and intelligence gathering. The activities of the SOE played a key role in weakening German control in Europe. By sabotaging German supply lines and industrial facilities, the SOE effectively disrupted the German war machine. Their methods of operation represented significant innovations in special operations and asymmetric warfare. These strategies and techniques were adopted by special forces of many countries after the war. After the war, the organization was disbanded on January 15, 1946. On February 13, 1996, Queen Elizabeth II unveiled an official memorial on the wall of the West Cloister of Westminster Abbey for all those who served in the SOE during World War II. In October 2009, another memorial for SOE agents was unveiled on the Albert Embankment in London. The Valence SOE Memorial commemorates the 104 agents who lost their lives while working in France. The Tempsford Memorial was unveiled by Prince Charles on December 3, 2013, in the parish of Tempsford Church, Bedfordshire, near the site of the former Royal Air Force Tempsford. In the shadowy era of the Cold War, the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, became a mysterious and powerful force, with its operations and strategies undergoing dramatic changes during this period. From 1947 to 1991, the CIA waged a covert war worldwide. Initially, its role was to collect and analyze intelligence to counter the influence of the Soviet Union and its allies. However, as the Cold War progressed, the CIA's role expanded, involving itself in coups, assassinations, and supporting anti-communist governments or organizations in secret operations. In 1953, a world-shaking coup took place in Iran, a key moment in the Cold War, meticulously orchestrated by the United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. The aim was to overthrow the then democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossad, a leader who advocated for the nationalization of Iran's rich oil resources. This coup was not only a part of the Cold War struggle, but also a bold action by Western countries to protect their oil interests. Mossadeg's policies directly threatened British oil interests in Iran, and the United States feared this could lead Iran towards the Soviet Union, increasing Soviet influence in the Middle East. Therefore, the CIA launched a secret mission codenamed Operation Ajax to orchestrate this coup. The coup included bribing politicians, manipulating the media, staging street protests, and even mobilizing the military and security forces to ensure the success of the coup. After the coup, the power of the Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, was greatly consolidated, making him an important ally of the United States in the Middle East. However, the consequences of the coup far exceeded the initial expectations. It planted seeds of discontent and resentment in Iranian society, ultimately leading to the Iranian Islamic Revolution in 1979. This revolution not only overthrew the Pahlavi regime, but also led to a long-term hostile relationship between the United States and Iran. This coup not only affected Iran's internal politics, but also had a profound impact on the political landscape of the entire Middle East. It became an important case study in international relations and Middle Eastern politics, showcasing a significant intervention in U.S. foreign policy during the Cold War, with effects that continue to this day. In 1954, the then president of Guatemala, Jacobo Arbenz, implemented a series of progressive reforms, including land reforms aimed at improving the lives of impoverished farmers. However, these reforms threatened the interests of the United Fruit Company of the United States and raised concerns within the U.S. government about Guatemala potentially leaning towards communism. Under the plan codenamed Operation PBS Access, the CIA orchestrated and executed a coup, successfully overthrowing the Arbenz government and installing a regime more friendly to the United States. This coup led to the beginning of a period of dictatorship dominated by military leaders and sparked a civil war that lasted for decades, causing severe damage to Guatemalan society and economy. Moreover, this event profoundly affected the image of the United States in Latin America, exacerbating the region's hostility towards U.S. interference in internal affairs. The 1954 Guatemalan coup became a significant and controversial chapter in U.S. foreign policy during the Cold War, with its effects still resonating in the Latin American region today. In the 1980s, the operations of the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, in Afghanistan became a turning point in the Cold War era, having a profound impact on global politics. This operation began with the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979, with the United States aiming to contain Soviet expansion by starting to support the Afghan resistance organizations, the Mujahideen, against Soviet occupation. The CIA provided these resistors with advanced weapons, intelligence support, and financial aid, significantly enhancing the Mujahideen's resistance capabilities, ultimately leading to the Soviet withdrawal in 1989. However, the consequences of these actions far exceeded initial expectations. After the war, some Mujahideen members participated in the formation of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, which later became major terrorist forces internationally. The CIA's involvement, although weakening the Soviet Union in the short term, in the long run, it led to ongoing political turmoil and instability in Afghanistan and the entire region. The impact of this operation continues to play a role in the global security situation to this day, becoming an important and controversial chapter in Cold War strategy. Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, was established in 1949 and is a crucial pillar of Israel's national security. This intelligence agency emerged at the inception of the State of Israel, facing security challenges from surrounding Arab countries. Mossad's primary responsibilities include overseas intelligence gathering on a global scale, focusing on acquiring political, military, and technological information crucial to Israel's national security, and tracking terrorist and extremist activities. In addition to intelligence gathering, Mossad also conducts various covert operations, including sabotage, assassination, and kidnapping, aimed at directly neutralizing threats to Israel. These operations are usually highly secretive and only become known to the public when successful or when they attract international attention. Mossad is also responsible for counter-terrorism and counter-espionage efforts, preventing terrorism and spy activities from harming Israel. Mossad's capture of Adolf Eichmann, a significant international intelligence operation, not only demonstrated Israel's determination to hold accountable those responsible for past crimes, but also highlighted its exceptional capability to execute complex operations. Eichmann, a senior official in Nazi Germany, was one of the main architects of the final solution, bearing significant responsibility for the mass murder of Jews. After World War II, he escaped trial and lived incognito in Argentina. In the late 1950s, Mossad received intelligence that Eichmann might be hiding in Argentina. After a series of meticulous investigations, Mossad confirmed the authenticity of this information. In 1960, they planned a secret operation codenamed Operation Finale, sending a specialized team to Argentina. After meticulous surveillance and careful planning, Mossad agents successfully captured Eichmann in Buenos Aires and secretly transported him out of Argentina to Israel. Eichmann was tried in Israel in 1961 in a trial that garnered widespread international attention. The trial revealed the horrific details of the Holocaust and established Eichmann's responsibility for these crimes. In 1962, Eichmann was found guilty and sentenced to death, the only execution in the history of Israel. Following the Eichmann case, Mossad continued to track and capture other Nazi war criminals, demonstrating Israel's firm stance against one of history's greatest atrocities. The terrorist attack by the Black September organization during the 1972 Munich Olympics and Mossad's subsequent retaliation operation, Wrath of God, left a profound mark in the history of international politics and counterterrorism. This incident occurred at the first Olympic Games hosted by Germany since the 1936 Berlin Olympics, where members of the Palestinian extremist group Black September broke into the Olympic Village, taking hostage and killing 11 members of the Israeli delegation, shocking the world and particularly impacting Israel and the Jewish community. In retaliation for this atrocity, the Israeli government and Mossad launched a secret operation codenamed Wrath of God, aiming to track down and assassinate members of Black September involved in planning and executing the terrorist attack. Mossad agents carried out a series of assassinations in Europe and the Middle East, which sparked widespread controversy over their morality and legality, particularly concerning their legitimacy and the potential risks to innocent people. These events not only heightened Israel's focus on national security, but also sparked extensive international discussions on the threat of terrorism and counterterrorism measures, influencing international counterterrorism strategies for decades to come. The terrorist attack by the Black September organization and Mossad's Wrath of God operation not only highlighted the rise of terrorism in international politics during the Cold War, but also showcased the moral and legal challenges faced by nations in their pursuit of justice and security. The Falklands War was a brief but intense conflict that erupted in 1982, primarily between the United Kingdom and Argentina over the sovereignty of the Falkland Islands, Islas Malvinas. In this war, the British Special Forces, particularly the Special Air Service, SAS, and the Special Boat Service, SBS, played a key role. In 1982, the Falklands War broke out between the United Kingdom and Argentina, triggered by a sovereignty dispute over the Falkland Islands, known as the Islas Malvinas in Argentina. These islands, located in the South Atlantic, are strategically important for controlling shipping routes and maritime resources in the region. Since the 19th century, the UK and Argentina had been engaged in a long-standing dispute over the sovereignty of these islands. And although the UK had exercised de facto control since 1833, Argentina maintained a claim to historical and geographical sovereignty over the islands. On April 2, 1982, the Argentine military dictatorship decided to take military action and occupy the Falkland Islands. This action was driven by domestic political pressure and claims of sovereignty. The British government responded decisively to this act, with then Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher ordering the formation of a task force to retake the islands. The UK rapidly mobilized its naval and air forces, dispatching a naval fleet including aircraft carriers to the Falkland Islands. Simultaneously, Army units were urgently deployed in preparation for ground combat. After about 2 months of intense fighting, British forces successfully recaptured the Falkland Islands on June 14th. The war resulted in significant casualties and equipment losses for both sides. For Argentina, this failed war hastened the collapse of its military dictatorship. The Falklands War had a significant impact on the international political landscape of the time, particularly in terms of domestic politics and diplomatic relations between the UK and Argentina. In the 1982 Falklands War, British Special Forces, particularly the Special Air Service, SAS, and the Special Boat Service, SBS, played a key role, executing several decisive missions. Faced with Argentina's sudden invasion, the UK rapidly deployed these elite units to the Falkland Islands to carry out deep reconnaissance, sabotage, and attack missions behind enemy lines. One key operation was the SAS attack on Pebble Island, aimed at destroying the Argentine aircraft runway to weaken their air capability. SAS operatives successfully infiltrated the island, damaged the runway, and inflicted significant damage on enemy aircraft, thereby reducing the combat capability of the Argentine Air Force and providing a tactical advantage for subsequent British military operations. Additionally, the SAS and SBS conducted multiple reconnaissance missions on the Falkland Islands, gathering crucial intelligence about Argentine troop deployments and defenses. They also executed a series of sabotage operations, including disrupting enemy supply lines and communication facilities, demonstrating the expertise of special forces in conducting precise strikes and creating tactical advantages. These operations played a decisive role in the UK's ultimate recapture of the Falkland Islands and victory in the war. In this conflict, the successful operations of the Special Forces were not only crucial to the UK's military victory, but also significantly enhanced its international reputation. The experience of the war prompted a major adjustment in British military strategy, placing greater emphasis on the role of special forces in future military conflicts, especially in conflicts far from home and in complex terrains. The British military began to invest more in the training, equipment, and technological development of special forces, strengthening their capability for rapid deployment. This had guiding implications for the UK's military actions in other international conflicts it later participated in, such as the Gulf War and the Afghanistan War. The Falklands War highlighted the unique value of special forces in modern military conflicts and also prompted the British military to re-evaluate and adjust its global military strategy, establishing the indispensable role of special forces in future military operations, from special operations in World War II to covert strategies during the Cold War, and to contemporary counterterrorism and intelligence warfare. Black operations have always been a key component of international politics and military strategy. They have played a significant role in shaping dynamics between nations, influencing the outcomes of wars, and driving the global political landscape. However, these operations have also raised many questions about morality and legality. How should we define the moral and legal boundaries of black operations? Should they be bound by certain principles while pursuing national security? I am very much looking forward to hearing everyone's thoughts. If you have any thoughts or insights on today's discussion, please share them in the comments section. Every one of your perspectives is an important part of our collective exploration of this complex topic. If you enjoyed today's content, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe, as it's very important to us. Also, please share this video to let more people join our discussion. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.